We have already completed 2 topics in our combinational circuit, that were the multiplexers and the comparators. Now in this presentation we will study the introduction to the encoders and decoders. They are also the combinational circuit and they fall under the MSI, medium scale integrated circuit group, and after this we are having the LSI, large scale integrated circuits. If you remember, the multiplexers were also the part of this MSI. Okay, and if I talk about the encoder, then there are n inputs as you can see here and m output. Now there is a relation between this input n and the output m that we will see now. Before that, let me tell you that the function of decoder is opposite to the encoder, not very special. What we are going to encode, we have to decode it later on. If you are sending a data, the encoded data you can say from the sender's end, then you have to decode it at the receiver's end to get what actually the data was. Okay, I hope you have already heard about these words, encoders and decoders, and have a small intuition about this. So let's say if I am having an encoder, this is our encoder, and in this if I'm having 4 inputs, okay, this is, let's say, 4 cross, I don't know what is the value of m, because we have to find out the relation between n and m, and this is our encoder. Okay, let's say this is I0, I1, I2 and I3. They are the 4 inputs. Now very important thing that I'm going to tell you for these encoders is that it is used to minimize the number of data lines. For example, if I say out of this 4 input, if a single input is high all the time, okay, either I0 is high, I1 is high, I2 is high or I3 is high, but a single input will be high for each and every cases, then what is the need to just use these 4 data lines if a single input is high? You already know that if there are 4 inputs, I can have 2 bits to represent them. I0 can be represented as 0 0, I1 is 0 1, 1 0 and then 1 1. So instead of having 4 data lines, I can have 2 data lines. Okay, so the value of m will be 2. Let's take one example. If I say I2 is high, then instead of sending these 4 lines in which these 3 lines is not high and have no use, I can send 2 lines in which the first bit will be 1 and the second bit will be 0, and at the receiver's end it can be decoded again by using a 2 cross 4 decoder. This question mark will be now 2. We have figured it out, and it is getting 1 0, and we know that 1 0 in binary, if there is 1 0, it gives us what? 2. So this is O2, output 2 in decimal. So what we were having high as I2, and at this point we again got O2, and O2 and I2 are same. So instead of sending the 4 data lines, we send the 2 data lines that you can see here. This is the core use of your encoders and decoders. Okay, and there are different types of decoders possible that we will see. Before that, let me generalize this relation that we just found out. If n is what? 4, that was your input, I can write n as 2 to the power 2, where m is 2. This is your m is 2, so I can write n is equal to 2 to the power m. This is the relation between the number of inputs and the number of output in your encoders. And in case of decoders, the relation will just change. The n will become n and m will become n. So let's take example in which I have made 8 cross 3 encoder and the decoder 3 cross 8. Okay, in this we are having 8 input, and because of 8 input, the value of output will be 3, because we just figure out if n is equal to 8, which can be written as 2 to the power m, the m will be equal to 3. Fine, and instead of sending 7 plus 1, 8 data lines, we will send only 3 data lines. This is the advantage of the encoder. The data has been encoded. Let's say if I7, let's say here not I7, let's say if I5 is high, and 5 is what? 1 0 1 in binary, so this O1 will equal to 1, this O2 will equal to 0, and this O3 will equal to 1, and this information will be decoded at this end, and again O5 will be high. Okay, so this is the function of your encoders and decoders, and it is very important. There is one more important use of this encoders and decoder is the implementation of the given Boolean expression. If you are given the min terms, you can easily implement it without using the different gates and the circuits involved that we saw in the multiplexer. So it is a very convenient way for the implementation of the logic function. The another important thing is the types. There are 4 types of encoders that we have to see. The first one is your priority encoder. Let's see what happens in this particular type of encoder. If I say instead of only one input being high, let's say 2 inputs are high, I3 and I5, then what will be the output of the encoder? It depends upon the priority that we set. Either we will set the low priority, the bits with the lower order is much prior, or we set the priority with the bits having the higher order. That we will see separately in the lecture when we discuss the priority encoder. The second type of encoder is your decimal to BCD encoder. The third type is your octal to binary encoder, and the fourth and the last encoder that we have to see is your hexadecimal to binary encoder. So this is all for this presentation, a small introduction about the encoders. From the next presentation we will discuss the encoders and decoders in brief. So see you in the next one.